Usamos estampillas.
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
Violent people.
Radio.
Welcome to Violent People Radio, episode 54. I'm Dan Rice, and I am joined, as usual, by Chris. Chris, how's it going?
Oh, I am doing phenomenally. Let's say phenomenally.
All right. AJ Styles, I'm familiar with him. I'm joined also, not by Sam, not by Pat. Some people call him Pat. Pork. How's it going?
Hello. It's great. Two
And by
podcasts,
some people, is it just me?
one day. Yeah, no one else.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Patrick is the Englishization of Padraig, so I guess it wouldn't be insane for someone to call me Pat.
Just trying to start a movement.
Like, my dad is legally called Padraig, but he goes by Patrick, so he's been called Pat.
Getting into name lore, my name is legally Dan, just Dan, and it causes all sorts of problems.
Your name isn't it's not Daniel?
Oh,
It's
I
not
didn't
Daniel.
know. I didn't know that it was just legally Dan. I actually might have known that, but I forgot it.
I've been calling you
had-
Daniel Rice.
I mean, people have. Teachers throughout my life have told me I'm a liar. Government agencies have been like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, that is cruel.
My go-to joke is that my family were charged by the letter. So
Is Tim just called Tim?
No,
I'm gonna assume he's Timothy.
Tim is Timothy because he gives his full legal name when he submits his ballot.
Wait, are you
Timothy,
Christopher? Or just
I am Christopher.
Okay.
Tim refused to be on the show this week. Only wants to be on when not invited.
He said he would only do late night with 2012 Royal Rumble. He's not guesting on any other podcast after that.
Listen, I get it. It's sweeping the nation.
Maybe I should be the one to ask Tim, because I just assume you guys ask Tim, so I never do.
Very funny thing. Since I'm struggling to get wrestlers on there for some reason, the way I ask people is that I just DM random people in the Discord. And, some people have said no, and that's fine. This isn't here to shit on anyone. But the funniest interaction was someone, and I'm not going to name him, who is fairly active in the server. I asked them, it was like, do you want to be on late night with the 2012 Royal Rumble? They said, what is that?
Oh. Maybe they're big leaguing you. Maybe they knew exactly what they were doing.
And you see what I type in Discord and on Twitter. It's not like I'm quiet about the show. I tend to mention it a lot.
Sam is not with us. I don't remember what his lame excuse was. I think he's at Costco or something. But it's very
He's
funny because
overdosed on cake.
he was way more concerned about finding the fourth guest than me, Pat, or Chris were. We're like, we're gonna get to it. And then I don't want to spoil the big top, but when you told me what you were working on, I was like, we gotta have this man on.
I also volunteered to come on.
Well, that too, that helps. What have you been watching wrestling wise though? Just like in the ring.
Well,
Or-
now this might be a shocker. I did watch the 2012 Royal Rumble.
Interesting.
Okay.
But to reveal that, you have to go listen to the podcast I also recorded today, where I talked about it.
I say it just popped up on my feed like an hour ago, I think.
Apparently, my audio's fucked up, so it's fine. I don't care enough to edit it.
Well, this is pretty meticulously edited, so
Yeah,
we never
well-
have issues like that here.
We fix it all in post.
I will say something I brought up. I'm not going to repeat myself. Is being on Facebook and having Dan Rice as your only friend makes for a weird website. Because all my recommended follows are just people I think you just know.
That's very funny.
Yeah, it's just like
That-
some of them are wrestlers, but the others I'm just like, this is just a person Dan knows. I shouldn't know this.
Because I'm not for all the Facebook talk I do in here. I'm not especially active. I'm not posting that much, so
No, it's weird, but I might have an in. I'm not gonna tell the story of why I have an in because I said it on the other podcast, but I might have an in to get someone like a Ziggler on the podcast, maybe.
that's a pretty big get.
I'm very skeptical, but we'll see. But the non-Royal Rumble wrestling, I watched Backyard Brawl 7, which is from XGF, which is like a backyard Japanese company. This is the scene I'm very unfamiliar with, so I'm not an expert. But on that show, there's 2 matches: Paul Ishida versus Taku. That's really good. Everyone should go watch that. Very fun, bloody brawl. They're in like almost like this in a scrapyard. It's very fun to watch. And then the other match is Takeda versus Minoru Kido, which was called on Cage, which was called on their like video a Death of Dead match. So if you want to watch a Death of Dead match, that one's not as good, but I still enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I would recommend watching the show. As someone who doesn't watch a lot of backyard or especially Japanese backyard, I had a lot of fun.
So no crazy Zako on that show.
No, see, like I wasn't sure if this actually was backyard or this is just like an Japanese indie company doing like a wacky show. Because I think these guys are just actual wrestlers.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are. Yeah, I
So
can't
it's kind
remember.
of
There was a
fake
match
backyard.
like with Crazy Zako from that Federation that got a lot of hype. I don't remember what the match was, but
Yeah, no, it's a very good show. It's only like an hour long. I'd recommend everyone watch it. Uh, the other thing I watched is I watched some of the United show between West Coast, DPW, and Prestige. I watched 3 matches because the ones who looked interesting. Danny Luma versus Nicole Matthew, which is fine. I like both wrestlers, but I don't. And they're having a rematch, but I wouldn't say it's incredible. Jake Something and Tremont versus Priest and Mad Dog. This is one of the matches of the year for me. Really enjoyed this. It's a Mad Dog summer. I would recommend everyone to watch that. And then Cowboy Way versus Sinner and Saint, which is meh. It's not awful, but I wouldn't say you have to go out your way to watch it. I like all 4 wrestlers, but it tries to do a bit too much. I didn't watch anything else on that show.
are Mad Dog and Tremont wrestling right now? Did I make that up?
Yeah, no, they're having a match in JCW, tag match.
Like as we speak, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the show is live.
Oh yeah. You guys want to hang up and watch that instead?
Absolutely.
I think we should give live commentary.
People love that.
Yeah. They
Funny
love
enough.
hearing about a thing that they can't see.
Well, I was listening to last week's episode and you were talking about the sound effects you were playing, but the listeners couldn't hear the sound effects. So it was very confusing to what you were doing.
That's hilarious, and it's good to know. I remember when like I don't know if you guys are Mystery Science Theaters guys. I remember when they launched Rift
No, I'm
Tracks like
20.
20 years ago. Well, yeah, thanks. And like that was like the whole bit is that you would download the audio file and you'd have to sync it up when you're watching the movie.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. And like that seems so antiquated now. It's hilarious.
I mean,
talk to a 10-year-old.
my gimmick for watching the Royal Rumble this time was I put all the audio through an Alvin and the Chipmunks filter, so I did have to time out playing the video and playing the audio. So similar experiences still.
Yeah, you're already doing it.
Yeah. Other thing I watched, funny enough, an old Mad Dog Tremont tag in GCW, the one that happened like a few months back. Another good. I'm really into Mad Dog Tremont. Can't wait for their singles match. Mad Dog is the best wrestler in the world, and Tremont is having a pretty good year. He almost got me to watch GCW, but not quite.
I'm sad that Pat had to back out the last second, but like I was going to be embarrassed to tell him that I had watched none of the GCW from this weekend.
I was like, do I want to watch whatever it's called, Tournament of Death or whatever?
Do you know the final of that tournament?
I saw Shotzi, or whatever her name is now.
I believe the final is Otis Kogar versus Matt Tremont.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh yeah, I saw that Otis Kogar had a deep run. That is
I
awesome.
I wasn't gonna have time to watch any wrestling anyway, but when I saw that, I was like, well, it's definitely not Tournament of Survival.
I hope they're making a concerted effort to get him ID'd next.
Holy shit, yes.
Because like Atticus Kogar being a WWE ID wrestler, WWE ID really rolls off the tongue. That's already funny, but bringing in Otis would be incredible. They should bring in all of 44-0.
I was gonna say, if this leads to Eddie only getting a run, I'm for it.
Get Ricky Shane Page in there. Let's go all out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, the problem is he'd take Hunter's job in a second. That guy's a creative genius.
Oh yeah, he's always taken away the book of whoever's already there. So
I want to see Ricky Shane Page book NXT so bad.
I don't think Sean or Hunter let him get anywhere near that. They're not bringing the fox in the hen house.
And then I found out I volunteered to be on VPR, so I thought I should better watch some more wrestling so I have something to talk about. Apparently you two don't take the same approach, but
well, I was going to.
And then?
So last week I was on vacation, so I had watched basically no wrestling because I was with my family. Most of my family, except my one of my brothers, do not care about wrestling. I'm not going to subject them to it. We're just going to watch the Tigers or the Stanley Cup or the NBA Finals. So that's fine. I think the only thing I did was I half watched the Jon Moxley Mark Briscoe match.
Still need to watch that.
It's pretty good. From what I half watched it while I was doing other things, and then I went upstairs and I played games with my nephews. And then I got home. And I think the day after I came home, I called. I was talking to my mom on the phone, and a bunch of them were still on vacation. Most of the older kids had left, but my mom, my dad, and my sister, brother-in-law, and 4 nephews were still there. But my other siblings and I had all left. And my mom was just like, "So are you feeling okay? Are you doing all right?" And I knew my mom had gotten an ear infection. I was like, yeah, I'm doing fine. I was like, oh, well, like everyone else got sick. I was like, oh.
Hmm.
And the next day I woke up with a sore throat.
You could have seen that coming.
Yeah. And then I went to work, and like 2 days of work did not help me feeling like shit. And the last 2 days, I just felt like absolute dog shit. And like today, I slept until like 3. So I have not done shit this week in like anything. Like the last 2 days, I looked at my step count on my phone, and it was disgusting.
We're talking double digits.
Yeah. So like I've watched some shitty movies just to have on in the background, but I have not like done very much engaged watching of anything because I have not had energy until like 4 hours ago.
Your vacation story reminds me, Dan, I'm going to Estonia soon. So if you need any George Hackenschmidt research, I'm on the scene because he's from there, I'm pretty sure.
He is. You maybe can pick up. There's a biography over there that you can pick up that they want a lot of money to ship over here. I can't read it, but what are you gonna do?
I'll get my girlfriend to translate it for you.
Love it.
Oh, yeah, so the other stuff I watched Mad Dog versus Tommy Davies. This is for St. Louis Anarchy a couple of month back. It's pretty good. It's short, it's hard hitting. Mad Dog's a good wrestler. He's the best wrestler almost. Not almost, he is. Yeah, good. I would recommend watching it. And the other one, I watched this on the recommendations of Ducky. This is from IWRG. It's the Demus match. I'm not going to say all the names because it's too many, and I don't know how to pronounce a lot of them. But there's like Demus, Sick Boy. It's a 4-on-4, kind of your classic hardcore lucha brawl. I thought it's just okay. It's a problem I can have with a lot of these where it does feel like nothing's happening. You're just watching people kill time.
Is Pinocchio in it?
I believe he is.
Okay, then I'm in. That was the one that he was trying to get help and figure out who was even in the match, and I was like,
Yeah, I'm going off
I
cage
bookmarked it,
match.
never got around to watching it.
I'm going off cage match here, so the naming could be incorrect. Was cage match being shit for anyone else? It keeps going down.
Well, I'll say super slow for me today.
Yeah, same.
I tried to pull open one of the 1.5 matches I watched on Cage Match before we started, and it would not let me.
Well, those are the matches I have watched. So general good stuff. I like wrestling, I think.
It seems to be that you think Mad Dog is an okay wrestler.
Yes.
Okay.
He's okay.
If you could replace one person in the 2012 Royal Rumble with Mad Dog, who would it be?
Sheamus, so Mad Dog would win it.
Good answer. Okay. My week has been basically incredibly busy. Part of it's been hell, like work is just professionally just not it's been a little bit down week. Things have gone poorly, I'll just say that. Personally, went to the zoo on Tuesday, had a fucking hell of a time.
Love that for you.
Yeah, that was like the highlight of my freaking year so far.
Coolest animal?
I know a penguin named Wahoo that I'm friends with. He's always the coolest animal.
You're friends with?
Yeah. There's like this behind the scene tour you can pay to take it to Columbus Zoo, and we do it once a year. And there's like this zookeeper Calvin that like has a best friend penguin named Wahoo, and he's just like a hoot. And like the Calvin, the zookeeper, his main thing is he's like, this is not how penguins are. He's like, Wahoo's just really cool. He's like, if you went and saw a penguin, he wouldn't like give hugs or run around or just make his little chirping noises just so we'd laugh. But Wahoo's the showman. That's what he does.
That's sick.
Is he named after Mario sounds, or is he just doing that for the fun of it?
He's named after a fish. Because I thought he was named after Chief Wahoo, which I thought was problematic.
I was about to ask. Because I know.
That was my first question the first year we did it, which I guess was 4 years ago now. I was like, "Is name that Chief Wahoo?" He's like, "No." Because I guess there's like a whole family of penguins back, like Marlin and I
Weren't
can't
they
remember
on
all
the
the other
podcast?
sturgeon.
Yes, last time.
Were they on a podcast?
I'm trying to do Marlin Maryland. It doesn't really work.
Oh, Okay, I get you. No. So yeah, that was probably the highlight. I got to see a sloth, and they take you back, and there's like a bow-legged cheetah who like isn't out. Is like he's not out in the public. He just has like her own
It's still
area in the
closeted.
back. Got to see her. Yeah, so that's cool. But wrestling wise, it's always weird. Like my the wrestling that like my family's aware of because I don't talk to them about it. Like Chris saying, like they don't care. Like sometimes if something like they'll pretend to be interested in like what I'm talking about, but mostly they don't care. But then like sometimes like when Raw went on Netflix, my nephew was like, "Do you want to watch that?" And we didn't. It was terrible. And then like for some reason, he knew that Money in the Bank was on. He's like, "Oh, do you want to watch Money in the Bank?" Because we were just hanging around the house, and I was like, no, but yeah, let's do it. We turn it on. It is about halfway through the Money in the Bank ladder match, and
Which
I don't think
one?
I really the men's. I don't. It's me.
Oh,
Come on.
so you're way into the show already.
Yeah. We just turned it on. We just went live where it was at. Because I knew that there was no way that I wanted to watch the whole show, and there was no way that he would last the whole show. But so I don't need to get into WWE is not for me. Like it's just not my. It's like community theater wrestling where like everything is so slow and so animated. But the only thing I wrote down was I'm like, let me take some notes. I'm going to be on a podcast. The only thing I've written down is Bronson Reed needs a belt. It's just so embarrassing. Like you're working with this $1 billion company, and the whole time he's just like pulling his pants up. They just keep falling down. He's pulling them up. Keep falling down, pulling them up.
Oh, I
Um,
thought you wanted to put the title on Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I also
I mean,
thought
belt him
you.
up.
We do
uh,
need a champion who wears the belt like a belt. Puts it in between his jeans and stuff.
I
gotta-
I think that there's definitely worse ideas.
You got to give me more when when I'm saying dumb stuff. If you just all,
No, there's worse ideas. They one of the worst ideas having Seth Rollins win Money in the Bank.
but he's like, I don't know what his gimmick is. Is it like the NWO?
I I watched it. I don't know what his gimmick is. I'm not sure he knows what his gimmick is. I don't know. Neither of you guys watched the review, but like, is Jacob Fatu is him turning face by saying "I hate you" solo or whatever? Is that cool? Are we excited by that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I
I mean,
love when there are cracks in the bloodline.
there's just so much more to get out of this story. What do you? I think we're probably in like the 5th inning.
I would say bottom of the second.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Um. But yeah, my nephew wandered away after that match because so he made it through. I'd say about 60 to 70% of a match. He's like, I'm done. Didn't want to stay to watch Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul, but I didn't either. So the only other match I watched, it's funny because we were talking about WID. I watched the match from NYWC ID Showcase, a show from June 8th. I watched a very Dan Rice match. I watched Timothy Thatcher versus Sam Holloway.
Yeah, that sounds like a good match.
Yeah, it was awesome. Timothy Thatcher is just like quietly still like one of the best in the world. He's just gonna be wrestling these little ID prospects. He
Wait, so
fucking
you
rules
said
at it.
you said this took place in New York?
Yeah, for New York Wrestling Connection.
That reminds me, these flights to New York to record Late Night with the 20. Do I like inbox you or is it like the company?
Sam.
No, Sam
Sam.
takes care
Okay,
of all that. Yeah.
cool. I'll send.
What I think was cool about Sam is he'll actually send me extra. Like I'll send him receipts, and he pays more than what I paid.
So renting out a 30 Rockefeller studio, that's not been cheap. I'm not gonna lie.
No, only the best.
Yeah, I
Only the
mean, when it
best.
comes out sounding as good as it does, it's worth it. Oh my god. Yeah, Sam. That's the other thing about people who are always asking for pitches. I don't think people realize Sam will pay you thousands of dollars to write for the site.
I make so much money doing this. I don't need a job. That's why I can watch all these WWE movies. I just review the 2012 Royal Rumble.
I mean, it's just I don't know why I'm stressed about work when I'm getting this much money coming in every single day from the site.
Sam will just like sometimes Venmo me like $500 just because is the memo.
Sam bought me
And
a
like,
house.
I would have loved if he would have used me or a referral, but still, it's great that he bought you a house.
I
He
am
doesn't even have a license in this country. It's
I
illegal
said a
what he did,
referral. I
but he
said a
still did
referral and
it.
get a little referral fee out of it.
I am a little put off guard. The last one he sent me was for 5,000, and all he put in the memo was a winky face. And
Okay, if we
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
I'm now thinking of Violent People Content House. I would kill myself so quickly.
if we're talking about Sam
It-
crossing the line, he started depositing stuff directly in my bank account, but like I don't know how he got that number. That's what worries me. He just had it.
Oh, when he pays me, he messaged me saying, "I like that you're so young." So
Oh,
there's probably
shit,
nothing to
Sam.
read into that.
I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah, I'm an adult. It's fine.
It's wrestling. That's definitely fine. 20
Yeah.
in wrestling? That's like
Yeah.
civilian 30.
If a wrestler dates a 20-year-old, you say, "Good job."
I was talking to my friend Marty Sproul. He was telling me about this. But yeah, that's literally all the wrestling that I watched. So like, match and a half. We'll call it 2 matches to be generous. So this is why you come to Violent People Radio. But
For the
also,
hard-hitting analysis.
speaking of Violent People, we do have a site, and on that site,
Yeah.
a man named Sam wrote something. The match that made me, Two Cold Scorpio versus Wardell Walker. We're giving Sam a lot of shit here, but I genuinely want people to read it, so he'll keep writing stuff like it. So check it out.
Yeah, it's very good. I haven't read it, but it's very good.
That's the spirit we're looking for. Honestly, if you just click on the page, scroll away, that still counts, I think.
I
Maybe
did
stay on it
click
for a
on
few
it.
seconds.
I did do that.
Well, then that's all I'm asking for.
Click on it, keep it open in like a different window for a few minutes. And
There
then
are
just
they do keep weird stats like that WordPress, because I remember there was some random article that like clearly someone had opened in the tab for like 5 days because it was one of the random rankings we did that had like an average read time of like 20 hours. I'm like, man, these guys are going slow.
That was just my dyslexic. I was like, I'm gonna get through it.
Tomorrow or not? Yeah, probably tomorrow, or maybe today. By the time you listen to this, I believe we have some more Coro recommended matches. Maybe people that host Violent People Radio will watch some of these and talk about it. There's no win.
Yeah,
Lots
it's
of
impressive.
podcasting going on. Porik just came out with one with Cameron, like you said. Q&T are freaking coming out fast and furious. Cole, not so much. Don't
He
know
only has
what's
time
going
for
on with the best of
really
Super
has time
Junior.
for me.
Yeah, he's like, forget New Japan. I'm only watching the 2012 Royal Rumble.
People are saying you don't need anything else.
That's everybody saying that.
Everyone.
As far as what's coming to the site besides that, I don't know. We'll find out. You got anything cooking? Any lucha rounding up getting done, Chris?
I mean, you heard how much I watched this week.
So if you keep up that pace, when do you think you'll be done with it?
Like when the pitcher has thrown in no walks in a game yet, and so
Yeah.
that little spot in the box score for their ratio is just an infinite. That is what it is at right now. But no,
So
now
faster
that I'm
than
feeling
usual.
yeah, as fast as usual. No, now that I am feeling a little bit better, I will probably be getting back on the horse.
Yeah, as far as me, I have no idea. I'm gonna at the end of this podcast, I will be going back and doing more work stuff till probably like 1 a.m. this morning. So who knows? When I'll get
Stick.
time to watch wrestling and talk about it. It's super cool because like in my line of work, like I'll be working till 1 a.m. and I won't get paid till July. It's like really fun.
So cool.
Yeah. So kids, get into real estate. You guys want to do the big top?
I always want to do the big top.
I'm here to top big.
Whoa.
Our
I don't
special
like
guest
that I said that.
coordinator is
It's Pride
for
Month.
some
It's fine.
reason. Explain to people what you're doing and why you're doing it.
I don't really have an answer for the second one, but there are 59 WWE studio produced films, and I have a lot of time on myself, on my hand, I mean, and I have issues, so I decided I was going to watch them all. So I've been doing that. I'm 6 or 7 in. It's been a time, but specifically the one I was told when we talk about the most is the 2000 and something horror slasher film starring Kane, See No Evil.
Well, you better know the exact. You may not know the year. I'll tell you 2006, but do you know the exact date it came out?
May I know it's a
Oh, you're
meme. I
20.
don't think
You're 20.
It's May something.
May 19th.
19th. Yeah, I know that he yelled it, or like people yelled it at him. But
Yeah, May 19th, 2006. This was
I would have.
probably what the fourth WWE Studios film, and
Yes, it's the first one that's not a Rock movie as well.
the first one, oh, the first non-Rock. Yeah, you're right. But it's Scorpion King,
Yeah.
Run Down, Walking Tall, and then See No Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you were doing this project, and you listed the ones that you thought you'd watch by now, and it was pretty unanimous that we had to talk about See No Evil. If people haven't seen this, the basic plot is there are convicts and they are on a work release kind of thing where they're cleaning a motel, an old motel. There's men and women. They brought some from the men's jail, some from the women's jail. And for every 3 days of cleaning, they get a month off their sentence. And Kane's hanging around cutting people's eyeballs out. That sounds like a little thin plot, but that's basically it, right, guys? Am I missing anything?
That is basically the plot as I remember it.
There's like religious elements. Now, the most unrealistic thing in this movie is the idea that this would shorten their prison time. Prisons just have you work, and anyway.
They would get pennies a day. They would get anywhere from 10 to 50 cents a day for doing dangerous, harmful, disgusting work.
So do you guys know the original name of this film?
The Good Night
I do,
Man.
but tell us. Yeah.
So the original name of this this film is The I Scream Man.
Oh, I thought it was The Good Night Man.
That was the second name.
And it's I scream as in your eye, as in what you see with. And I really wish they kept the working title in this like really mean-spirited movie. Like it is like it's really just dark and violent and gross and grimy. And I kind of love it, even though it sucks.
Well, an interesting thing I learned about this movie is the director, Gregory Dark, I'm sure that's his real name, is just an adult filmmaker. Like he just made porn.
He also does a lot of music videos, and like that, the music video thing really, really makes sense because there's they do the effect. I don't know what you call it, where they just like zoom in on someone's face and like the camera shakes and they put loud music and flashes, like they're like to tell you, hey, this is scary.
I mean,
And it
but
felt like it
Thor
was out of
does
like
that,
Limp
and I
Bizkit.
love it.
Oh my god, he directed the video for Zoot Suit Riot by the Cherry Poppin' Daddies?
Well, that fucking
Fuck yeah.
rules.
The classic swing revival song of 1997?
I will say he did
Uh,
Linkin Park's One Step Closer, which like that's the vibe you get from the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is absolutely like this movie came out in 2006, but it's like it gives you the vibes of like 2003 Slipknot.
But you have to say like 3 years behind for the WWE is like
That's
the
pretty good.
closest they get. Yeah, that's the closest they get.
Yeah, especially for like Kane.
The writer of this is Dan Madigan, who was just like a SmackDown writer.
so-
Like, hey, you can write wrestling, go ahead and write a movie. And he's like, all right.
I do.
Um,
The best detail in this film is that it's not Glenn Jacobs in the credit. It's Kane.
Yeah, it's the
what's
big
also
red
good about the
machine.
credits, the Kane playing, what's his character's name? Jacob, is it Goodnight? Yeah, Jacob Goodnight,
Jacob
which
Goodnight.
is in the credits, but is never once said at any point in the movie.
No, that's
I
only
read
for the
that.
real heads.
Well, I read that they said it in the opening monologue, like when they were, but then they cut it and forgot that they never said his name again.
Maybe it's covered in the sequel.
I've not seen the sequel. I actually might crack into it because I'm kind of on the Chris thing where this movie is often mean spirited is exactly what the right term, because like everyone's terrible in this movie. Not just the man taking out eyeballs. Every character's awful. But like it blew by. I watched it. Like I was like, oh, it's already over. All right, good time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Michael is maybe the worst person I've ever met.
And he's kind of the
Like,
hero.
yeah, but like I don't want Michael. He's the one I want to live the least. I mean,
Well, in any other horror movie, he would. Like he's like the womanizer, like the Chad character. You know what I mean? Like he's the asshole.
like
And
uses slurs.
yeah, he's not a good guy. And well, the movie actually opens with years prior, two
Oh,
police officers encounter Jacob Goodnight. One of them is murdered, and then one of them gets his arm cut off, but he also shoots Kane in the back of the head. And that ends up being the prison guard that brings these these young prisoners, to the hotel. But so you kind of think they're setting him up as the hero because he's like, the one-armed man. He has history with Kane, but like, nope, no, he's dead. He gets to die.
the thing I found quite interesting is like the opening, like the opening 5 minutes is maybe the worst edited film ever.
You can't see what's happening.
It's incredibly bad, and I was so excited from this, but then the rest of the film was just kind of normal edits. So I got very disappointed. So also the credits were done in like default fonts, which is a trend in these WWE movies. They're clearly not paying to have like custom fonts.
no, that's extra.
Here's my other thing. Obviously this movie is ridiculous, but Kane isn't magic for most of it.
Well, it's weird because in the movie it seems like he never got his head wound taken care of.
But
Like that's it.
he just
But he's still
desi-
alive.
he survived a shotgun not a shotgun, but getting shot in the head.
But yeah, the only like supernatural thing he does, like the slasher trope where he somehow he gets like there's the woman prison guard, or the woman head of prison, security. He gets in an elevator and somehow the 7 foot tall monster Kane like sneaks behind her into the elevator or comes down from above the elevator. I don't know how we're supposed to imagine he got in that elevator except magic. But no other time is he magic, really.
Yeah, so it was weird. I do like when Kane just runs through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
See, there are some cool moments. Like I like when he shoved the cell phone down that girl's throat.
I was
Oh,
so
that's a
hoping that
sick scene.
I was
Yeah, I
so
was like,
hoping
holy
he would
shit.
then find a way to call her and like hear the phone.
We've talked about this movie a long time without mentioning that Kane does masturbate in this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
That's how
Mayor
you
Glenn
know it's Vince
Jacobs.
McMahon produced. Yeah.
this is the last one he produced as well, Vince.
And what a way to go out.
I couldn't find any way to verify it. I don't know how you would verify it, but there's a rumor that he wanted him to have like a 3-foot long penis in the movie. Vince wanted Kane to have one, but I guess cooler heads prevailed.
I mean, the way to verify that rumor is that it was Vince McMahon.
Yeah, there it is.
Something that I got confused is whenever we have the flashbacks to young Kane and we hear his mother, the mother has like an Irish accent, which I take offense to for being associating the Irish people with this film. But then the mum in modern day doesn't.
You're not wrong. So we talked about how there's really no hero. I would like to point out like the survivors are Michael the asshole, Kira who's like the victim the whole time. Like she doesn't like she's just locked up the whole movie. But then Christine, I couldn't figure out where I remember this girl from. But I don't know if you guys are familiar at all with the Disney original movie Brink.
Oh, yeah.
It was it was about inline skating. It came out in 1998. I forgot how big a deal that movie was to me until I saw Christine, because that's like the only other real credit she has. I was like, oh my god, that movie was so cool when I was 10. You had to be cool to do inline skating. But she survived. I guess she's a hero-ish. I don't know. They all are
Yeah,
terrible, which I guess they're prisoners. That makes sense.
Well, here was nothing. I didn't get prisoner vibes. I got like juvie, young delinquents. But then,
Yeah,
like,
that would have made more sense, I think. But like, I feel like they make them adults. Like, I feel like to know that like it's
yeah,
a real prison and they're real adults.
because Michael looks 38.
Yeah, and
He looks
two of the
way older
characters are
than
fucking.
everyone else.
They probably were
Yeah.
gonna be juveniles, and then like Vince came with all his ideas for what they would do in the movie, and like we gotta have these guys be of age.
I mean, yeah, because there is like partial nudity.
Yeah, with this being like a straight up, it's an exploitation movie, which is kind of crazy that WWE produced an exploitation movie. But like, you that's kind of taking it a step too far if they're kids. You can't quite put that on the same shelves when you're selling John Cena and Randy Orton.
I mean, some of the
Um,
deaths in this are fun. I like the one where Kane just drops a woman through like a glass ceiling and then dogs bite her to death.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kane
because
helps break the glass ceiling.
Kane's character, Jacob's Goodnight's thing is for whatever reason he's got a long chain with a hook on the end. That's like his weapon of choice. But then at the end of it, he doesn't really have it anymore.
Yeah, because his whole thing is his mom has kind of raised him to be a weapon of God and to kill all the sinners. Which is why she doesn't want him to masturbate because it's a sin, but Kane wants to masturbate, and this is the central conflict.
We're all going through that.
Yeah, it's the constant fear.
Now, I would like to mention that this was one of the more successful WWE Studios films as well. Like, it didn't match like the Scorpion King, obviously, but that's like unfair. But like at that point, it did better, I believe, than all of the Rundown, Walking Tall, the Marine, the Condemned, like all of the early films were outdone by this, especially because I think it did really well on DVD. Because people were like, you gotta see the Kane movie.
You gotta.
Well, this is really like the peak of this sort of movie, of the new metal vibe, horror, like slasher. Like, I mean, we talk about Saw enough on this podcast, but it is in the shadow of Saw and Hostel, and I don't know if this came out before
Joyride.
The Collector, but The Collector, one of the best movies with this vibe, is The Collector, and like The House of Wax.
Oh, I love
with
that.
Paris Hilton. That movie's awesome.
I love that movie. Chad Michael Murray. The guy gets his Achilles tendon cut, and I talk about that all the time. It's one of my biggest fears now. I just don't want that to happen to me.
The guy from Supernatural is in it. That movie's sick.
I talked about that within the last week. This was also the period. My older sister, like she's 10 years older than me, so I don't know what that would make her in 2006. But like she was like one of those horror people that every Blockbuster's still a thing. So once a week she would go and just rent whatever the new horror movie is. So I know for a fact she hates wrestling. But I know for a fact that at the time she asked, she's like, "Did you see the See No Evil, the Kane movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I did." It's just you have to watch any new release.
We've gone long enough without talking about the greatest scene in cinematic history. Kane's death is hilarious because there's not really any special effects in this film. It's all done practical until Kane falls from a window and it starts looking like a PS3 cutscene. It is hilariously bad CGI.
And then he's also very clearly dead, which has me excited for the sequel.
I mean, we also forget the kind of Mortal Kombat style. We see the inside of his heart as he gets stabbed. It's the great. I wouldn't encourage people to watch this movie. I would encourage to watch Kane's death. It is hilarious.
Oh man! And then the second one has like Danielle Harris and Catherine Isabel, who are like kind of horror movie staples. I'm gonna watch it soon. It's on Tubi as well.
Yes, he also seems to have like the Cody Rhodes mask in the sequel.
Yeah, maybe that's all he needed to get better from having his heart stabbed. New mask.
Yeah,
it doesn't appear that any of the survivors return. Why would they?
God, I like this movie. Not in like I like it, but in its shit. But you do run out of things to say about it quickly.
Well, where would you rank it? And I don't want to just spoil too much, but like you've watched up to what's the newest one you've watched in the list?
Behind Enemy Lines, Columbia.
Okay, so is this in the top half of what you watched or the bottom half? Because I'm gonna guess top.
It is, yeah. I'll give a ranking of what I've seen. So number 1 is The Marine.
Oh yeah, easy.
That's the only movie that's a good movie.
That's just a legitimately like 3-star action movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I gave it, 3 stars. Then The Scorpion King, which is fun in a kind of camp. We don't make movies like this anymore, of like high fantasy. And then I'd probably go Walking Tall for Johnny Knoxville. And also it has, how to describe this? It has a very wacky strip club. Like none of the strippers just strip. There's always like a mechanical gimmick going on with them. Hard to explain, but yeah. I mean, that is also a very stupid movie. Then I probably go See No Evil.
Oh yeah.
Or is it The Condemned?
Oh, see, I remember hating The Condemned, but it's been 20 years almost.
I mean, Condemned is like bad Battle Royale. I would say See No Evil is better than Condemned. Then The Rundown is really boring, and then by far the worst is Behind Enemy Lines, Columbia.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Immensely boring. Mr. Kennedy's not even in it that much.
He's not. He's on the cover. He's the only one on the cover.
And he's
Yeah,
not
they didn't
really
put-
in it.
Yeah, Keith David is the actual star of that.
And he's the only good thing in it.
But yeah, Mr. Kennedy is in that movie for like 5 minutes,
That's
and
hilarious.
he sucks. Would you believe that Mr. Kennedy sucks?
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it, honestly. Huh.
So, you know,
No, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I guess I'm like an easy mark because I was like, I would recommend people watch it. Like, don't go out of your way, but like, if for some reason you're like, I'd like to watch a horror movie tonight. There's lots of worse things to do.
yeah, but there's a lot of better things to do.
That's true, but like, if we were gonna
Watch The Thing.
think like that, why would we watch wrestling? You know what I mean?
You raise a good point.
I don't want to break it down too much in quality. What I'm spending my time doing.
Yeah, I am the one who's watching all of these, so maybe I shouldn't complain about people
Yeah.
spending their time better.
That's true. I would bet within the next 2 weeks I probably watch See No Evil too because I'm hooked. I'm a Jacob Goodnight guy.
Yeah,
Hey,
you're hooked.
you're hooked.
I'm hooked. I didn't even do that on purpose.
They should make a third one with Hook in it.
Well,
Yeah, when are we getting AEW
Yeah.
films?
Oh, who do
Tony
you
Khan's
cast?
afraid.
Who do you cast as the monster in a horror film from the AEW roster?
You cast.
Lance Archer. Or
The Murder
or
Hawk
Paul
Monster.
White.
No.
I want him. When I watch him walk, that's a horror movie.
I'm gonna go with Jay White. I think Jay White could play a good killer.
The Switchblade.
Yeah,
Switchblade Killer.
yeah, and that would be his thing. He would kill you with an axe.
And that's
Now,
the
I don't
twist
bel-
of the movie.
Now, this is clearly me just being on like a Wikipedia click-a-thon. I don't think these are WWE studio films, but did you know there's 2 Walking Tall sequels that star Kevin Sorbo?
I did not, and I won't watch them because I don't have to.
I didn't know that, but I will put those on my Letterboxd watch list, along with like 3,000 other movies.
Very funny how The Rock just leaves WWE studios. Like after the first 3 films, I guess he's back for Fighting with Family or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, he can. After that, he can go make real movies.
Yeah,
I can tell you that I hated The Condemned in real time because I'm looking and I'm like, well, yeah, I've obviously seen these first 5. I like them all. Then I see The Condemned, but then after that's Behind Enemy Lines, Columbia, 12 Rounds, Marine 2, Legendary. Like, I haven't seen any of these.
Fighting
12
with My
Rounds
Family is the
is
only one
okay.
I've seen.
Which one's okay?
12 Rounds.
12 Rounds, okay.
I'm very interested to watch Queens of the Ring, which is a French comedy movie.
Oh man, that's wild that was the WWE Studios movie. I know that Pat was very disappointed that we weren't watching The Chaperone.
Yeah, I'm also interested in the ones that don't have wrestlers in it, like the Oculus, where that's just like a movie. It's not even a wrestler movie.
Those are the ones I'm least interested in.
I'm just interested that they happened. No, but I will maybe write something for the site once I watch all of these, or I'll give up because these movies get
At the very
boring.
least, I want to have you back on in this journey. We'll have to figure out when you get to see No Evil 2. Come back on.
I mean, I have to come back on.
Yeah.
It's weird that he's a man now.
What was that?
It's weird that he's a mayor.
Yeah. What's
Like,
up?
think of the movie you just watched. Think of that whole movie. That guy's a
Yeah.
mayor.
Well, then
He's like
you think about who the freaking president is. Am I
I
right,
swear.
people? Am I right,
Yeah.
people?
Hey, I swear, I wouldn't. I'm only voting for him 2 or 3 more times, and I'm about done. I've had it up to here.
There's a freaking Cheeto in the White House.
The guy from Home Alone 2?
Uh, it's crazy they couldn't get Trump in a WWE Studios film.
That's got to be one he was in.
No. By the 2000s, Donald Trump is way too big of a name for WWE films.
You're sure he's not in The Call starring David Otunga?
Okay, maybe he's in that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
David Otunga. I'm trying to think of a match I've watched with him in.
The 2012 Royal Rumble.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yep. I mean, 07 is when he was at WrestleMania. So like this, he should have been in See No Evil, really, right around the same time.
Papa Goodnight.
What do you
Kane
think? What do you think is the origin of that surname? We were talking about names earlier. My bet is Dutch.
I'm gonna say Italian.
Well, I think it's got to be Irish, right? Because that's the accent the mom had.
Don't do that
just-
to us.
I'm just saying.
Ah, according to Google, it's Swahili.
You know what? I picked up on that in the movie, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird how
There's some-
none of us said that.
Yeah. There was some tough subtext that was like, that's definitely Swahili.
Oh, the craziest thing about the Marine is John Cena does blackface, like immediately. I mean, it's more like it's supposed to be like camouflage, but my god, is it dark?
I'm going down like the IMDb rabbit hole of the trivia. It's like Kane did all of his own stunts. He doesn't really do anything crazy in this, right?
What? No, because his death scene is CGI, so he didn't do all his stunts.
Yeah, well, I'm just like, you're a wrestler. Like, I would hope that you could do the stuff you did, and then you're just picking up people and throwing them.
Like he goes through a wall.
That's like going through the barricades, like a staple spot of WWE now.
I
didn't
do
even
that
mention
every
the eye
goddamn
thing.
match.
He like rips people's eyes. We never mentioned that.
Oh yeah, See No Evil. He takes their eyes out.
Because then they can't see the sin.
But if you have a religious tattoo, he won't kill you.
Because I think you always have to be hot. I think that's also part of it.
I thought, yeah, that does seem like it's part of it. Well, it's because there's not. I mean, there are these details, but like they don't lead anywhere or mean anything or do anything.
Yeah, I mean, this means nothing is a good way to describe the whole film.
Maybe
It's like-
they expound upon the lore and the rules of what he's doing more in the second one.
It really feels like Jacob Goodnight was like written as a placeholder, and they're like, we're gonna flush it out later, and they just never got around to it. They're like, nah, that's probably enough.
Yeah,
He's got mommy issues.
Yeah, maybe they were going to give him a different name. Like Jacob Ice Cream.
And he sells
That's such a
ice
good-
cream.
That's a better movie.
Dude, Kane selling ice cream? I wouldn't watch it, but you know, it would exist.
But
Well,
you would. You're watching
would.
them all.
He's always burning the ice cream because he's always setting off fire. Melting the ice cream, I guess he wouldn't burn it.
Maybe it's
Burnt
deep
the
fried ice cream.
Burnt the hell out of my ice cream.
What the fuck is deep fried ice cream? What
Oh
what
my
are you
God.
doing what is going on in your country?
Kane's
You
the
deep
mayor.
fry-
We're deep frying ice cream.
You deep fry ice cream?
In my
I
mind,
mean, it's not
kind of
something we
a-
do all the time.
Yeah, in my mind, it's like a Hispanic thing. Is that true?
I mean, the first time I heard about it was at a Mexican restaurant. Yeah.
That's where I've eaten at.
Oh, see, now I'm racist. Why'd you do this? God damn it.
Well, we do like to set our co-hosts up for failure.
You know what? I'm looking at images. This looks really good.
We lull them into a false sense of security after they're the only people that watch wrestling for the week,
I never feel secure around you two.
and then boom, racist.
Look, I mentioned your age so much less than Sam. You should feel fine.
It is a Chinese and Mexican cuisine.
Okay.
So now I'm double racist.
Yeah, you're double racist.
Double
oh
racist.
boy.
God. You're gonna have
I'm
to.
calling
You keep
the
acting like that. You're gonna
woke
have to move over
police.
here.
Well, I feel like I'm just fitting in on VPR then.
You're just lucky I won't release all the stuff you were saying before we started the show.
Yeah, you really are taking Pat's place this week.
I bet Gregory Dark has directed some wrestling matches that Pat have watched. Oh God. You guys think that covers See No Evil?
Gregory Dark, XPW legend.
You think about. So, what do you think about permanently becoming a film review podcast instead?
I mean,
that I like them so much more than wrestling.
I was gonna say that's you legitimately Sam and Chris's dream, so please don't ever say it again. Every
But
week I make them talk about wrestling is just another little dent in their soul.
But if I think if Sam and I were on a movie podcast together, I would kill him, or he would kill me.
Well, at least from what I can tell by the film talk, I'm gonna attack Sam here. Is that Chris has seen everything, where Sam has seen probably See No Evil, but then is like, who's Martin Scorsese? And I can't have it. Where Chris, I don't know how you have time to eat, much less watch wrestling. Where like every time you're like, oh, I've watched these 7 movies today.
Yeah, I didn't watch any wrestling, but I did rewatch iRobot last night. Not as good as I remembered it.
That was one of my dad's favorite movies.
Yeah,
iRobot fucking sucks.
I remembered liking it a lot more, and then I realized I saw this is just directly my Letterboxd review. But I remembered that when I was 10, and that movie came out on DVD, my brother and I would just start the movie at the scene where the robots attack the police station. And yeah, if you start the movie there, that movie is a lot better.
Yeah, that's a cool scene. So that works. Yeah, he had terrible taste in the movie. He liked that, and then I'm just gonna tell this story. One of the times we were detoxing him, he was really into Mad Max Fury Road, and he watched it. I would say 700 times. Like he would just restart it. Like he would watch it and just restart it, and watch it and restart it. And like he's detoxing off heroin, so like his sleep schedule is a little insane to the point where my nephew, who would have been 4 or 5. For a while, would cry if someone tried to put on Mad Max. He'd go, "Please, no Mad Max, please." just ruined the film for him. He will never ever watch any of them. I'm sure of it.
So fucked up.
But yeah, that's the big top. We're now a film review. We'll have to come up with a new acronym. I guess violent people. Violent people can watch movies.
Yeah.
I like we're saying now we're a film review. Like we haven't talked about Saw like 7,000 times.
Yeah. I mean, there are Saw updates if we want to get into them. The guy bought the thing back, and now it's owned by Blumhouse.
Yeah, the opinions are mixed in the Discord.
Well, I don't like it. Everyone else seems to like it.
That's the mix.
I don't know. I don't like. I appreciate Saw 1. I don't want a Saw movie that's like Saw 1. I want a Saw to embrace how crazy and stupid it's got. I don't want a Saw movie that tries to like return to its roots.
Yeah, I need Detective Hoffman. I need them to like bring back Donnie Wahlberg, even though he's been dead for like 7 movies now.
I thought you were telling me Donnie Wahlberg, the actor, was dead, and I don't know why that hit me so hard. I was like, really? In my head? Donnie?
that's
you guys
what I
ready
love
for some
about-
Q&AR?
Yeah, I don't actually want to talk about Saw. I was about to go into more Saw thoughts, but
Listen, save it for Saul thoughts. Ducky has a really good question here. Favorite spot in the 2011 Royal Rumble? Which is crazy because you're the host of Late Night with the 2012 Royal Rumble.
do you ever feel like your life's becoming a parody of itself?
Every damn day.
I'm going to tweak this question a little bit. What's your favorite spot of the 2012 Royal Rumble?
I'll give an answer to both. In 2011, it's when Alex Riley gets eliminated before he's supposed to. And he was like supposed to eliminate Cena. But he just acts it like shoot falls out of the ring. So the Miz who's not in the match because he's the champ at the time, has to get into the ring to eliminate Cena. And then the 2012 is simple. It's the Big Show punching Jack Swagger. It's the greatest spot in all of wrestling.
Andy Shrimp Brisket 420 asks, favorite Irish person ever?
Well, you two answer first.
I would say one of your aunts. If I don't want to choose, but it's one of them. Chris, do you have an answer?
It's Padraig.
Oh.
That's incorrect.
No, he'd be like 5th or 6th on my list.
Even mine's
That's
is
pretty good.
It's pretty good. There's a lot of us.
Who's
mine's
yours?
probably like Johnny Sexton. He's captain for Ireland in rugby.
Okay. Oof. You could have said like your dad, but you just...
My dad isn't the leading scorer in the Six Nations, so why would I?
He's not. Nick Yeoman, what would be the best movie to remake where you can keep one member of the original cast, but all other roles are played by The Miz? And who would you keep as the non-Miz actor?
Marine 4. And then I don't change the film. Oh no, everyone is The Miz but one. Okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. This is a fantastic question.
I've been on a little bit of a Wes Anderson kick because probably going to see the new movie this weekend.
I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah, I've heard good things. So I am going to recast the Royal Tenenbaums. Gene Hackman stays, but everyone else is The Miz.
That's good.
I tried looking up movies with awesome in the title, and for some reason the top result on IMDb was Nude Bowling Party. So I'm gonna go with that.
I feel like it's the easy answer. It was like see no evil, keep Kane, everyone else is Miz.
Miz wins in this scenario.
Three Miz's win. They walk out together.
That's beautiful.
Cole asked a question that I feel like has been covered. Which co-host would you marry if forced to? It feels like our listeners are always making us fuck or fight.
Which one of you makes more money?
Dan.
Cool, Dan.
Sam. Of just the three of us, I was like, Sam's the money bags here.
Well then, Sam.
Yeah.
I think
If we're all just going from there.
I think Pat I think Pat and I have already been married on this podcast before, so I think we're getting married again.
See, that's
Oh.
my answers. I think it was you and Pat married and me and Sam married. I don't really want to cheat on Sam. That feels
Yeah.
kind of fucked up. Haven says if each co-host had to make a podcast about a Royal Rumble, what Royal Rumble would it be?
This is what I'm talking. My life is a joke, and it's on me for leaning into the bit. But there's more to me.
It's not the best one. This is not the right answer, but I have definitely seen the 98 Royal Rumble the most of all Royal Rumbles. So I guess I'd have to do that just so I have the experience. Chris?
I think I'm gonna go with the 2000 Royal Rumble.
Okay. Is that Rock Big Show?
That's Rock Big Show.
That's Rock Big Show. Okay. There's a lot to get into there. That's
Yeah.
that'll be good.
Scandal.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I think that's a lot of material, so
Mine will mostly be like I was 10. I owned the VHS. Being 10 was pretty cool. Stuff like that.
Is this taking my format of having to do it a bunch of times or a one-off special?
Well, it says make a podcast. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a one-time deal or if we have to destroy our brain like you're doing. I don't know.
I would pick the 2016 Royal Rumble.
Logan, who would you cast to be in the remake of the 2006 movie The Marine?
Kane.
I would probably do Mayor Glenn Jacobs, but
I know my aunties. Yeah. They were in EastEnders. They can do the Marine.
I am going to go with, you know what? I'm going back to AEW films, and the star of the Marine is now Luther.
you know, I'm just realizing this question's pretty open-ended. I'm going to choose me. Time for my big break.
You don't want to be in that movie.
You know what, Dan? I'm happy for you.
Oh, you're going to
This
meet
is
the
it.
Terminator. No, that is pretty cool.
Here's Porik claiming to have opinions on stuff outside of the Royal Rumbles. To be determined. Soul says, what subject would you choose if you were the host of a wrestling-themed episode of Jubilee's Surrounded?
What is that?
It's where they have like... Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so you know those YouTube videos where it's like
20
people versus one? Like, sometimes it's something funny, or sometimes it's like one anti-vaxxer versus 20, or one doctor versus 20 anti-vaxxers.
I thought this was like some game show you had that I never heard of. But no, I do know what this is. I'm trying to think of something that isn't just like against 20 Fed fans, and I say Shawn Michaels is bad. trying to be
it would be like making Dave Meltzer stand in a room with like the 20 most insane WWE fans they can find would be great.
Dave Meltzer, and he has to justify to historians why we can't understand Terry Funk matches because we weren't there at the time. That's I've always respected Meltzer. That's so. Why does he say those things? Stupid.
Because he's the greatest poster of all time.
I'd probably do Chris Jericho. No, I do Marty Scurll against 12-year-olds.
I wouldn't do that.
What? Weirdo.
Unless this is a To Catch a Predator type situation.
If
And
Chris
the end
Hansen comes out,
result
I'm
is him in
watching.
prison.
Wait, no, I think I have to host it. So, you know what? I'm sticking to my answer.
I want it just be me versus 20 people on the Discord, and I just would say hey, Jimmy Jacobs is just all right. He's just fine. We don't need to discuss how terrible he is or how great he is. He's just fine.
I just don't think I have any controversial opinions that aren't at least a bit common. I don't like the 4 pillars. Is that going to be my hot take? I have to argue I don't like Misawa that much.
You don't like any of the 4 pillars?
I think Toway's okay, but I'm not.
That's kind of a hot take.
None of them makes my GWE.
Let's see. This one seems like it's mostly for Pork, but Marilyn says thoughts on Margaret Thatcher.
To my knowledge, she's not in the 2012 Royal Rumble.
Oh, Ducky was a great answer. Her son Timothy is pretty good.
Both British.
Both British. Both have aquarium jobs, I believe. I have to look into Margaret Thatcher more.
Both closed down coal mines in the north. I think Margaret Thatcher is bad.
Whoa, that's your surrounded episode.
You just said you didn't have any hot takes.
I know, I'm crazy. In history,
you want me to edit that out?
No, I don't want you to edit anything ever.
You got it.
Yeah, that might be one of the most controversial things ever said on this podcast. I think Tim's going to get really upset.
You think Sam makes it this far in the episode?
Of course not. That's why I feel fine insulting Sam on my podcast, because I know he won't listen to it.
Well, you only know that because he says it so often.
Yeah.
It's really, really good publicity for the pod.
I insult Sam the most when I know he will listen.
See, Pat will listen, but I don't think it's insulting that I said that he watches weird porn basement wrestling.
See, if he knows what he is.
Exactly. I think he's pretty self-aware about it. Believe it or not, that wraps up Q&AR.
Wow, we did not get a lot of questions.
Well, I think we all forgot to ask until Chris did it 5 p.m. today or something crazy late.
Yeah, I did it legitimately 3-4 hours ago.
No,
so considering the time frame, we got more than I expected. I have not been in the wrestling mind frame. I've barely been on the Discord. I've just been busy with bullshit.
Do have one more question.
Oh, I skipped one?
Yeah, this is from Rue. Punching, kicking, slapping, or grappling.
Oh. I probably thought that was just in response to someone.
No, I was in call with Rue when I said, because Rue's my partner. I was like, "Do you want to ask a question for VPR?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna." And then she sent this, and I wasn't entirely sure what to do with it, but
grappling.
Punching's the answer.
Yeah,
grappling.
Probably. No, punching. As someone who watches a lot of wrestling with Rue, she doesn't know the name of styles like hardcore, shoot. She just calls them Wrigley or Punchy or Blood.
Better names, arguably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you told me the greatest spot in wrestling is a punch, so.
Yeah, and yes, that is something I said. You're correct.
Yeah, so it's got to be punching. Yeah, that wraps up Q&A. Sorry about that, Rue. Not good at reading quite yet.
You'll get there.
I probably won't, but I respect that you build me up.
Sure, this VPR ever. Bow, 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 bow.
It really is, but we're down a man, down 2 men, kinda.
None of you two watched wrestling.
Because only one person here watched wrestling. We consider that a pretty long episode. I'd love to plug Late Night with the 2012 Royal Rumble, but if you
I
listen
would.
to an hour and 20 minutes of this, and you know whether or not you're going to watch it or listen to it even.
I mean, you don't have
I-
to listen to it. Mute it and press play. It's the same thing for me. So,
It counts. Just got to get those numbers up.
yeah. I've got a
Um,
better help sponsorship on the way. So,
I will say neither of the people on this show have ever been on a published episode of the show, so that's something.
Yeah.
So a little
Yeah,
awkward. You just deleted mine.
well, yeah.
No, I thank you for that.
You know what you did.
We got enough, Dan.
I hear that sentiment a lot in my life, believe it or not.
See, that's why I built you up like a minute ago, so I can cut you right back down.
I love it though. I'll come back next week.
You threatened so many minorities on that episode. There was no way I could release it.
I thought if I threatened enough minorities, that became woke. Like people would be like, "Well, he knows so many minorities."
You were talking about how pro ICE you were. ICE wasn't even a thing at that point when we did that episode.
Maybe I wanted like a cool drink. Maybe you didn't understand what I was yelling about. I did yell a lot. I probably shouldn't have, and I apologize.
Yeah. So no, that episode is never releasing. I've got it on a USB drive and I've sent it to the deepest pits of hell.
I was saying, if you send it to my government, I'll probably get a new job.
How does Secretary of Health sound?
Sounds great. Probably pays about as well as Sam's website.
Well, actually, Dan, I actually did get a copy and I sent it to some people, and they're sending you to a house to clean.
Oh,
yeah.
Before I go, I may try to get a cross tattoo and or become hot. One of those is easier than the other.
Yeah, one of those I would put all your eggs in one basket there.
You're saying focus on getting hot. Okay.
I did have an idea. I don't have any tattoos. I did thought if I got a tattoo of the 2012 Royal Rumble while watching the 2012 Royal Rumble, that's a good bit.
That's like the logo, or
I didn't really think it.
Like, how do you get a tattoo of the Rumble?
I get each frame.
So listen, it's a full body tat.
Yeah. If you get a 2012 themed Royal Rumble tattoo, I will 100% join you. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I really don't want a tattoo, but
what a crazy first tattoo as well.
Yeah, I always thought like if I got a tattoo, it would be like a Tottenham tattoo or something, but
apparently it's a Sheamus tattoo.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that does this for VPR. Next week we'll all have 2012 Royal Rumble tattoos. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.